Good morning, friends. No clock on the wall this morning, so I know, but I think I hit it right on time. Let's sing a morning song together out of the Gray Hymn Book, hymn number 163, For the Earth Forever Turning. I invite you to rise in body and our spirit. Let's sing this great hymn together.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Olympia Unitarian Universalist Congregation. Our community envisions an interconnected world that is loving, just, and healthy. We commit to live out our mission to welcome and wonder, embrace and empower, bridge, and become. Thank you for joining us here today. We are so glad that you are here. My name is Alicia Seegers-Martinelli. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a member of the worship arts team. I'm a white-skinned woman with dark brown, shoulder-length hair and glasses, wearing a fuchsia-colored scarf with flowers, which is available in the auction with an assortment of others. This was donated by Carmen Navarro. Leading worship with me today is Troy Fisher, our music director, and Reverend Sarah Lewis, the director of community and faith development. Our guest minister, Reverend Nancy Reid-McKee, recently retired from the parish ministry at Northlake UU in Kirkland. And currently she serves as the chair of the UUA Commission on Social Witness, as well as in other roles in our faith. You are welcome here, just as you are. Whatever beliefs sustain you, whomever you love, however you understand and express your identity, and in all the ways that you are still becoming the person you will be. Here's a few things that you should know about our service today so you can feel welcome. We are streaming live on Zoom and YouTube, and this service is being recorded. For those here in the sanctuary, you can see the sometimes creative subtitles on the screen in the front and Zoom for those online. And over here, we have soft chairs and activities for your hands so everyone can feel comfortable throughout the service. We are a multi-generational community, and we welcome people of all ages right here in the sanctuary. There's also nursery care and a story time program for children in the classroom wing. Please be where you are most comfortable. We are grateful for the many hands that make worship happen today. Thank you for all who contribute in so many ways. After the service, everyone will have the chance to discuss reflection questions offered by Reverend Nancy. For those online, we invite you to go into a breakout room for a virtual coffee chat. And for those in person, please feel free to stay for coffee and fellowship in the Commons. At 12:15 today, please join us back here in the sanctuary or back in the main Zoom room for a conversation with the OUUC board on the big question, we're growing. Now what? Come share your ideas and your experience. Thank you to everyone who has pledged to support the future of OUUC in the stewardship drive. We came further this year than ever before, and it's not too late to make a new pledge or change your pledge. Thank you for joining together to build the world we dream about. Now for an announcement about the auction. Friends, it is time to let our light shine. The online auction is open, and I saw many people bidding yesterday. Please keep it up. The live auction is next Saturday. If you intend to come, today is your last day to buy tickets. Get online and buy it today. We want to buy the right amount of food, not too much. This event can be considered the capstone of our very successful stewardship drive. It's time for us to celebrate together, to let our light shine together. If you haven't already, browse the online auction, bid, then return frequently to stay in the action. The auction items don't just support OUUC, they provide for social connections, artful exchanges, and learning events throughout the year. And oh, there are so many good items this year. The talent in this congregation is impressive, and the handmade wonders are lovely. We've got professional photography, custom knit baby hats, watercolors, mixed media shawls, and our very own quilted chalice. In fact, there are 2. Interested in a trip overseas? You don't even need to get on an airplane. You can go to France for the fall equinox, Germany for the brats, Greece for the flavors of the other Olympia, Turkey for a little murder mystery, or Poland for some pierogies. Want an art-filled adventure? Get out for an artfully crazy day or tour the Glass Museum. Do you like games? We've got you covered. Hand and foot, trivia night, cribbage, euchre, and more. Scratch your itch and learn how to make kombucha, sourdough, baskets, play pickleball, or learn about variations of whiskey. It will be educational. And if you're still not able to find your favorite things in this year's auction, you can join the OUUC board for some of their favorite things. Throughout the year, you've heard us talk about being a countercultural congregation focused on love, justice, and health. So how does this relate to the auction? First, love. Lean in, feel loved. This is an event for everyone. It is where we share our many and diverse talents. This event is about coming together. Come as you are and let your true colors shine. Tickets to the auction are a sliding scale, and if you need assistance, please see Reverend Mary. Second, justice. We're putting our faith into action this year by supporting passports and family safety plans for immigrant families. That is one of the Raise the Paddle items. The other is investing in this sanctuary, our spiritual home. Make your gift online or next week at the live event. And third, health. We focus on health because coming together in community lifts our soul. It connects us to each other. It brings joy to our lives. And as we've heard Reverend Mary and Reverend Sarah say, joy in times like these can be countercultural. I look forward to seeing you bid online, and I look forward to seeing you next week at the live auction. Let us celebrate, let us invest in this congregation, and let us shine our light together. And as you've heard, there are many things happening at OUUC. Check out the Tuesday electronic update or the website for the most up-to-date information. Now, let us open our hearts and our minds as we prepare for worship. It is good to be together.
Good morning. I am Reverend Nancy Reid-McKee. I use she, her pronouns. I am a short, white-bodied, older woman with short hair, wearing a very colorful stole today. This morning, we join Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world in lighting our chalice, the symbol of our faith tradition, with the words of Eric Wickstrom. Here today in this place and with these people, may we listen so that we can hear. May we hear so that we can feel. May we feel so that we can know. And may we know so that we can change ourselves and this world. May this chalice we light our way. Our call to worship today is a responsive reading adapted from Reverend Tet Gallardo. You're invited to respond with the words, "When I change, the world changes." They're going to be written on the screen right up there. We are here to derive meaning in our actions. When I change, the world changes. We are here to deepen our understanding of ourselves in order to live with integrity. When I change, the world changes. We are here to feel our personal power and our capacity to affect the lives of other people. When I change, the world changes. We are here to become teachers to each other. When I change, the world changes. We are here to imagine new ways of being together in community. When I change, the world changes. We are here to support each other in the discomfort of this changing world. When I change, the world changes. We are here to live into our covenant between each other and with the greater world. When I change, the world changes. Come, let us worship together.
And let's sing together again out of the Teal Hymn Book, hymn number 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. I invite you to rise in body and our spirit, and let's sing together.
Good morning. The story that I have for you today comes from the Taoist tradition. On a lovely sunny day, a farmer was working with his farm horse, who was getting along in years and seemed rather tired. And the farmer felt deep compassion for the fatigue of the horse and decided to give the horse a day off, loose in the field, with no work. But unfortunately, the horse wandered off that day and was nowhere to be found at night when it was time to bring all the animals in. The next day, the neighbors gathered around the farmer. "Oh, no, your horse has been lost, and now you'll have to do all the work of the farm by yourself. How will you survive? It's a calamity." And the farmer shrugged. "Perhaps. We shall have to see." Well, the next day, the horse returned, bringing along with it 2 young wild horses that just walked right into the enclosure. The neighbors again gathered around. "Oh, how fortunate you are! This is amazing stroke of luck! Why, you are surely blessed." To which the farmer shrugged. "Perhaps. We shall have to see." Well, the next day, the farmer's only son went out to work with and train the new horses and was unfortunately thrown and broke his leg very badly. And all the neighbors again gathered around. "Oh dear, what a calamity! Why, with your son with a broken leg, how will you all survive? You'll no doubt starve. This is awful." And the farmer shrugged. "Perhaps. We shall have to see." Well, a week later, the emperor's army came through recruiting soldiers, and they rounded up and took off most of the young men of the village. But the farmer's son was deemed unfit due to his broken leg and left behind. And again, all the neighbors gathered round. "Oh, how lucky! Your son has been spared. Why, you are so blessed." And again, the farmer shrugged. "Perhaps. We shall have to see." Thus ends our story.
Each Sunday, we join in the spiritual practices of generosity and gratitude by joining together in service to our community and to something greater than ourselves. We each have the power to share, and when we combine our gifts to create an offering, together we are able to do so much more than any one of us could do alone. We also express our gratitude for the gifts that life has given us, for the network of relationships in which we live, and for the presence of this community. If you are new or visiting us for the first or second time, you are our guest, and we do not expect you to contribute. However, if you are moved to be part of our offering, what you share will be most gratefully received. The offering collected here does 2 things. It helps support the ongoing work of this congregation, which is also supported by our regular pledges. And this offering supports an organization that serves the community in harmony with our Unitarian Universalist values. Our Share the Plate organization for March and April is Wild Grief. This is what they share about their work.
Hello, Olympia UU congregation. My name is Monica Annie. I use she and her pronouns, and I'm the program director at Wild Grief. We are a small local nonprofit. We've been around for about 10 years, and we offer free peer support groups for people of all ages who are grieving a death, and we do all of our programs in nature through hiking and camping and backpacking. We really believe that it's really important to normalize grief, and that being together outside with other people who have a shared experience is really healing. We serve over 350 people per year, all the way from babies to elders, through all these different programs, including programming in Spanish. All of our programs are totally free, and we provide all the gear for the overnight programs and help with transportation and just try to make them really accessible. Here's just some reasons why you might want to support us. People love our programs and come away from them usually saying that they feel a sense of relief and just connection and community. And also here in Thurston County, there actually isn't any other free grief peer support available right now, especially for children, teens, and young adults. So this is really crucial right now, the work that we're doing here. Here's some pictures from our teen backpacking trips and from our family camp out. And if you're interested in volunteering, you can just go to our website, wildgrief.org, and check out the volunteer page. We have a lot of ways to plug in. Thank you so much for supporting our work. We appreciate it.
This is the final Sunday to support this wonderful organization. May the offering now be generously given as it is gratefully received.
Thank you for your generosity and all the ways that you share your gifts. This morning, we do what humans have done for all of our existence. We gather in times of worry and anxiety and in times of celebration and joy. We come into our community bringing all that is on our minds and in our hearts. Let's open our hearts to the complexity of life as we place stones in the water of community. You will hear a drum beat. Allow its resonance into your body. It is the heartbeat of life, the heartbeat of community. Right now, I invite you to take a deep breath. Feel the air in your body. Feel the earth beneath us. Feel the warmth of connection. We place a stone in the water today in recognition of the death of Pope Francis, an advocate of care for each other and care for this earth. May he rest in peace. And this week, the Washington State Legislature adjourned sine die, the last day of the long legislative session in our state. We offer our gratitude for all the dedicated individuals and groups who serve the interests of the people of this state and work for the common good. Let's open our circle wide. For those on Zoom, I invite you to share from your heart by entering in the chat. Those in the sanctuary can see your sharing on the screen, and it's shared with Reverend Mary and the pastoral care team. And for those in person today, I invite you to come forward if there is something that you would like to bring into this community. You may place a stone in the water as you hold your sharing in your heart. Let us hear the heartbeat of our community and reach out our hearts in love and care to all those who share. We place a stone in the water for all that has been shared online, shared from the heart, and one more stone in the water for all that we hold in our hearts and that remains unspoken. We hold together all that has been shared. May you feel yourself witnessed. May you know yourself beloved.
Let's take this time to notice the sacred. Let's take time to recognize that there are sacred moments in our lives, sacred spaces, sacred people. As I read these moments of sacrament written by the Reverend Sean Parker Dennison, I ask you to take notice of something that may feel like a sacrament in your own life, something sacred for you. I invite you to still your mind, still your heart, still your breath, and enter into this moment to reflect on the sacred. Every in-breath, every out-breath, every blink, every sigh, every shiver, every heartbeat, every hesitation, every fight or flight. Every memory, every joy, every grimace, every impatience. Every sadness, every helplessness, every satisfaction, every confidence, every try again and again and again, every yes, every no, every maybe, every fear, every rage, every cry, every grin, every blush, every fall, every perfect landing, everything, everything. Let's hold a moment of silence together.
I invite you to remain seated as we sing, We Give Thanks.
Our reading today is an excerpt from Leon Vanderpoel's book, A Shift in Being. Metamorphosis for a caterpillar is a process of death and emergence, not morphing. Wrapped in its cocoon, its body decays and disintegrates into a blob of primordial goo, a nutrient-rich stew of death cells mixed with some bits and pieces of the caterpillar's innards. Then one day something remarkable happens. In the midst of the puddle of the decaying ooze, a new cell pops up. Ping. These cells have been called imaginal cells because they are imagining what is possible. The immune system of the dying caterpillar, taking the imaginal cell to be some sort of enemy form, attacks and kills it. Another imaginal cell then pops up. Ping. And the immune system again trounces it. Soon a number of imaginal cells pop up. Ping, ping, ping. And the immune system, although it's beginning to fail from the stress of death, continues to fight. In time, however, the imaginal cell pops up faster and in greater numbers than the fading immune system can kill them off. And then, because the imaginal cells are encoded with the program to create a butterfly, they start joining together to form cell clusters, clusters of wing cells, antenna cells, digestive tract cells, and other cells take form. The cell clusters eventually form together, and the transformation is complete. The butterfly emerges as an altogether new entity.
I know I'm not the only one. I know many of us really enjoy the experience of going through the TSA security at the airport. It always generates a bit of anxiety for me. It begins with, first of all, the whole thing. You go up and you have to find your ID along with your boarding pass. And then you have to find some place to put those as you're moving towards the conveyor belt, and someplace that you're going to be able to find it later on, right? And then I have to remove my shoes. I have to take off my earrings. I have to take off my necklace. I have to take off my bracelets. And then I have to shove them someplace, because where am I going to put those? Everything has to come out of my pockets. I have to take off my sweater or my jacket. Then I try and remember, have I packed anything in my carry-on bags that has more than 4 ounces of liquid in it? And have I emptied my water bottle? I take out my computer and my Kindle and all my devices bigger than a cell phone, and I perform this whole total mental scan and undressing without a table or chair while pushing all my suitcases along the line in front of me. At the same time, I'm very sensitive to the long line of people behind me who I know are watching me, only me. They want to know, how many bins am I going to actually use to put my stuff in? And how long is it going to take me to get ready to get on that conveyor belt? I finally go through the scanner, and every single time I am pulled aside and they pat my lower back down, and I have no idea why, but I get a massage every time I go through TSA. And then I get to the other side of security, and it sort of begins again, right? Here's my stuff coming off the conveyor belt. I have to put my shoes back on. I have to find my jewelry. I have to repack everything in my bag without losing my driver's license or my boarding pass. And as fast as I can, I have to remove my bags from the conveyor belt because of all the people who are still watching me to see how fast I'm going to get off the conveyor belt. I don't know how you feel after you've gone through this, but I always feel discombobulated. I need time and I need the space to get resorted. And that's why I love the Milwaukee, Wisconsin airport, because it's the only place I've ever been in my life that after you go through the TSA security, they have a big sign that says the recombobulation room. And they have tables and chairs and beverages, and you can sit down and sort yourself out and get organized before they move on to the next stage, before we move on to the next stage of our journey. Recombobulation. I looked it up in the dictionary. There is no such word. So. In our lives, there are many things that are discombobulating to us, but most of them revolve around having to reorient ourselves to something new, something that challenges us and requires to change our plans or our expectations or our hopes or the way we think. And change, you're going to be surprised to hear this, you've never heard it before. Change is not something we as humans instinctively enjoy. In the year 2000, Paul Ray, a sociologist, started talking about a new emerging cultural group that's distinct from the traditionalists and the moderists who have dominated for the past several centuries. He labeled this new group emerging as the cultural creatives. What distinguishes these people from others is that they are actively engaged in imagining new ways of being. Typically, we have thought of creativity as what we find like in artwork, in music, literature, dance. But this new social category is used to identify people who use their imaginations to change the culture. They imagine new ways of doing business, new ways of structuring family, new ways of making decisions. They see the surrounding culture as their playing field, where all the norms can be changed, where the rules and processes that have long been accepted can be questioned. They are very annoying people to be around. And we can see these imaginative people all around us. They're the ones who are always suggesting new ideas, pushing us out of our comfort zones, stretching our imaginations in very disturbing ways. They're the people who have challenged us to think outside the box with such thoughts as, is gender actually a binary, male, female, or might it be a continuum that people move along? Is the traditional definition of marriage the only option, or should there be more than two adults, more than two genders in a family unit? How might our legacy of the use of humans for commercial gain, the commodification of bodies, be influencing the very way we understand democracy and capitalism? Changing the very way we understand how our culture works, using our imaginations in ways that will alter the world as we know it, are part of the creative work. According to Paul Ray, fully 1/3 of the people in this room are part of this culture of creativity. They're the ones who think of new ways to do something. They're the ones who imagine new ways of doing church. And let us admit that this isn't always comfortable for the 2/3 of us who are traditionalists and modernists. This place of creativity, creative imagining, though, is exactly where we're called to be. This is that place where our personal transformation might begin. It is the place of social transformation might begin. And it may be what is required of us to save this planet, but it comes at a cost to our comfort. It is discombobulating. In her book, Transforming Conflict, Reverend Teresa Cooley explores how we as a religious group approach times of conflict and change. She suggests that when these things arise, too often we try to solve the problem, manage the conflict, or ease the change with simple fixes, when perhaps we shouldn't. Instead, we might use these opportunities to help us grow. It begins with imagining something different, imagining what we might learn. Instead of aiming for an easy answer, we aim to learn a different way of being. This involves each of us embracing the notion that we might change. We might learn a new way. She writes, and I quote here, "The challenge of our time is to mobilize great masses of people to make change without dehumanizing each other. Not just because it's morally right, but because it works. This work of transforming is not just high-minded, it is also eminently practical. Isn't this exactly what we are trying to create in our religious communities? A space in which a person can find themselves anew, in which they can reconnect with a loving community and help everyone learn a new way of being. That's the end of that quote. This will not come as a surprise when I hear say this, but we are in a time of incredible upheaval in this world. We can see this at the global level as the environmental changes create shifts in all the inhabitants of this planet. We can see this at a national level as we adjust to a shift in values and priorities that impact the well-being of this country. And we see this at a community level, and I'm talking specifically here about the changes at this church, where the growth you have talked about for years is now upon you, and you will no longer be the same. Olympia UU congregation has entered into the time of primordial goo, if I might liken you to a caterpillar, and how you will emerge will be determined as much by how you make decisions as what decisions you make. This will require more than technical shifts from one service to two services, more than rearranging the chairs or making more space. There's not going to be a flow chart on the wall that you can follow like a checklist when it comes to this type of growth and cellular adaptation. Each of us is different, and we come with our own personal histories, values, and complexities. And each situation is nuanced with its own peculiarities. You are far too complex as individuals and as a diverse community for technical fixes to be the answer. This is a time for creatively imagining how this church might be. I would like to offer some guidelines that might help you navigate these next years, and these can help in your own personal life too. First, resist escaping to the familiar. What has worked up to now and the way things have been done will likely not work going forward. It's tempting to retreat always to what is known rather than embrace the unknown. How many times did the Israelites complain to Moses that they would rather go back to slavery in Egypt than proceed through the uncomfortable desert toward freedom in the promised land? Next, linger a little longer in not knowing. We may not have ready answers on what to do next, but if we can become a bit more comfortable with the discomfort of uncertainty, we can draw on an imagination and creativity greater than we knew we had. I can't say this enough. Living in uncomfortable times and spaces without trying to fix or comfort is an essential skill we all need. Another guideline is to move from explaining to exploring. Move from explaining what we have thought and done before, and instead explore other ways of understanding and acting. And the final guideline I might offer is to recognize our own reactive tendencies. We each have established ways we respond to change and challenge, and this is normal. We may find ourselves complying, pleasing, or protecting. We may distance ourselves from other people, or we may criticize other people. Our tendencies may lead us to try and control through an authoritarianism or a perfectionism. We each have ways we respond. Let's take a moment to notice what we do, what our tendencies are, and then let them rest for a moment before we respond. Allowing anxiety, allowing it to be present, and perhaps giving space to creative responses. So going back to the airport, Let's rest a while in the recombobulation zone before we head to our gate. Let's readjust our clothes, repack our bags, and put our shoes on for the journey ahead. This is an adaptive process, and we need to take our time here to put things in place before we move forward. And while I've talked about world, national, and community upheaval, there is a great personal upheaval at this time in history as well. This process of creative adaptation can benefit each of us personally. This, I propose, is spiritual work. We enter into the process of letting go of our familiar patterns and letting something mysterious, something beyond our knowing, begin to shape us. Letting go and letting spirit is the stepping off point into the unknown, into the mystery, into letting the spirit of life take us where it will. This is the work we do to become the people we always imagined we might be someday. I close with this poem titled "Holy is This Place" by Reverend Maureen Killeran. Blessed is the ground on which we stand. Holy is this place. Holy are the places of memory, the places which have formed us, where we store the icons of success and shattered dreams, and gather threads and pieces of what we would become. Holy are the places of memory. Holy are the places of the dream, the places over the rainbow, where all children are wanted and all people are fed, where colors are the source of celebration and youth and age come to the table as one. Holy are the places of the dream. Holy are the places of change and pain, the places of our struggle, where the rivers of our lives run white and fast, and we hold on, and grow. Holy are the places of change and pain. Holy are the places of connection, the places where we risk ourselves, where hands, touch souls, touch minds, and in awareness still, we change our lives. Holy are the places of connection. Holy are the places of becoming, the places of clear vision, where life and world are intertwined, and we can see forever in this moment and give thanks. Holy are the places of becoming. Blessed is the ground on which we stand. Holy and whole making is this place. Amen. Let's take a moment for silence.
Let's rise and sing together out of the Teal Hymn Book, hymn number 1023, Building Bridges.
extinguish our chalice with the words of Reverend Emily Richards. May you leave this time together changed. May the promises you have made to yourself about who you want to be feel closer to the reality of who you are right now. May you share that feeling of transformation wherever you go. May it spread into every word, deed, thought, and interaction until we are all changed, transforming and transformed together, becoming our better selves. May you go with joy, go with commitment, go with peace, go with love. Blessed be.